This is Jim.
Jim's excited to see us.
Ask him to show you his...
Well, I've just been mic'd up for my stand-in work from Tim the sound guy, I said
work together.
Tim Burke.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
So I said, I'm always saying silly things. Who's listening? And he said, Jim. We've got to go meet Jim.
We keep documentation on everything people say on the microphones in between the shows. You know, just.
It's going to be on hard copy.
That's right. You don't know what's coming next.
So you are. What's your official title?
I'm the mixer, the show mixer. And I put all the sounds together and make sure they get on tape properly and make sure everything sounds good, basically. Yeah.
How'd you become the mixer?
Well, one day I was mixing music and the money wasn't good enough, and somebody said, well, go into television, they make more money, and so here I am. Right. True story, really.
What other shows do you work on?
Oh, well, let's see, there's been MTV through the years and Playboy and...
Hey, look, this is a family show.
I'll get deeper into that one. We can talk. No.
What'd you do for MTV? Videos and things?
Well, do you remember a show called Rockline, which was live? Went live to 15 countries, and that was a fun one. Because it was, you know, kind of a 2-hour show that just went up and came down real fast, and everything was live, so there's no rewinding the tape and no going back if something doesn't work, you know, so it was cool. It's a great show.
Do you have, like, really good hearing?
Well, actually, my hearing's been gone since the rock and roll days, but since I've mixed for so long now, I just go by feel, you know, I just turn the speakers up real loud, you know, and I feel the vibrations, and, you know.
Well on the phone.
Yeah, I'm on the phone the rest of the time, so I really can't hear, you know.
Now, there is some fun being had here. Whose voice is coming out of here?
And can we do in the video for this thing? Make it.
Oh, that's Bob Loudon, the director.
Listen to this, because this is where it all happens on the intercom system here. This is where all the conversations go on that you don't hear. So if you really want to know what's going on for directing, you just kind of turn this on and listen to him, and you hear all the nitty-gritty. You know?
So when they're complaining about the stand-ins and things?
Exactly. You don't hear it, right? When the hosts make mistakes and all that, we all laugh. Nobody knows, you know, it's kind of cool.
Well, I'm glad to know there's a body attached to that. When I'm standing out there, all I can hear is Bob's voice, and I was kind of like the voice of God, I thought, for a long time. I didn't realize he had a body.
That way sometimes, you know. God, Bob, they're about, you know, kind of the same.
All right. Well, you can't do much on any show without a set, and this set is great. Here is the man behind the set, the art designer, Ken Russell. Ken, this looks great.
Thanks very much.
How did you think of this? Did you have the idea? Who had the idea for this?
Actually, one of the producers had an idea, and he worked with the production designer, Scott Story. And Scott's not here today, but
so you can take all the credit.
Sure, I can. I worked closely with those guys, and my job is just to keep the look consistent for the show and make sure the director and the producers are happy. And if anything needs to be done, I do it. But mainly, it's just keeping it really consistent look, so it's the same all the way through all the shows.
So now, did you actually create all of this? Then, did you actually paint it?
That's when you're doing sets, you can either do it yourself or you can farm it out to another company, and we ended up hiring another company to do this. But Scott was really involved in making sure it was the way he wanted it, and then I was the guy who put it together. So
who are, I know Annie Wood, the host, refers to them as Harold and Maude. Were they designed after anybody specific?
That's a really good question. You'd have to ask Scott that. I really don't know.
How did you get involved in set designing? Was it something, you an artist by nature? How did you get involved?
Actually, I had a good background for it, but I actually started in the industry doing production. I did production for about 4 or 5 years, and I went from television to film, and I was having trouble staying busy. One of the people that I always called for work was an art director. He said, I'm tired of you calling me for leads. Come work for me. So I went and worked for him and did a miniseries for CBS, and it just went from there. I started getting more art department jobs than production jobs. And so I stayed in film. I've been doing films all over the country and in Central America for 4 years. And then I just now came back into TV. This is one of the first shows I've done, so I came back to television. And I'm liking it. It's fun.
I am here with camera people extraordinaire, Brian and Jeff. Hey, Jeff's balancing his checkbook. Obviously, camera people, very lucrative business.
I have a lot of free time.
So how did you get this job here on Buzz with the camera?
I was just called. Freelance people, your name gets around, and they just call you.
Do most camera people freelance? Most technical people?
As far as I know nowadays, that's pretty much the case. Wouldn't you say, Jeff?
Yes, I would say that is the case. Most people freelance. People freelance, yeah.
Yes, he summed that up, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Now, so now that...
Particular group, aren't we?
So now, freelancing, what does that mean? What if somebody wants to get involved in camera work, how can they get work?
Just make a lot of phone calls. I as far as I know, make contacts and people you know, and it's pretty much the only way to do it.
Just call the studios and say, hey, I'm Brian the camera guy. What's going on this week?
Well, I don't know that necessarily it's the studios. It's more or less the actual people involved, the production coordinators, the schedulers, and stuff like that.
Can you intern to get the experience? Where did you start at? What was the first show you ever did camera on?
First show I ever did camera on. Oh, well, years ago, back in college.
So that's where you started. What did you study, broadcasting?
Yeah, I studied down at San Diego State and did stuff down at KPBS, the local PBS station.
So you started out doing news and things like that?
Yeah, we didn't really have news down there. It was mainly student productions and a lot of public affairs, that kind of thing, and then on from there.
So do you work on a lot of game shows? What are you doing these days?
A couple of game shows. I do a lot of sports.
Oh, cool. Like
Baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, any kind of sports. We're basically video whores.
I know what that feels like. Can we get a little tour of your camera?
Yeah, sure.
Walk over here. Let us. What's going on here? It's Sony Camera 3.
Sony camera. Yeah, it's Sony camera. I don't know too much of the technical part of the camera. It's camera 3. It's just I know my shots. Your zoom and your focus. It's very similar to the camcorders you have at home. Except for these don't autofocus like those do. But
yeah.
It's the zoom and focus and. Yeah.
Cool. Can we?
Sure.
Hey, look at that.
Sure.
Let me try.
Go ahead. Here, I'll hold the mic.
All right. I'll look at that.
Zoom's over here.
So what's your shot? You're normally on the table? Because I know when I come out.
Yeah, when you come out, we're over here. We're on a shot over here. And if we set it up over here and bring it up just a little bit. And if the person is standing there, my shot is up a little closer, close up. And you're out of focus. And focus over here. And what they do is they give us a little box that's not in there, but we get down under here. There's a button. You can put your hand underneath. There's a button,
okay.
and it changes it. It shows me where I need to put her in the box so that she can talk into the box.
Okay, cool. So that's got to be fun. You must see a lot of interesting stuff.
Yeah, there is. This is a really fun game show to do. This is.
Penny is very entertaining.
Oh, she is. Yes. Yeah, she is.
It's our lovely Generation X host, Annie Wood. Annie, applause, thunderous applause, thunderous
I
applause.
won't do this unless there's applause. Hi there.
Hello, Annie
Welcome
Wood.
to the show.
So thank you for having us as a part of the show.
Absolutely.
And we're very excited to have a little tour and have a little sit down.
Oh, a
and chat
tour
after the rehearsal.
She wants a tour. Okay, after the rehearsal, I can hook you up, baby. I'm gonna do.
Hook me up, all right.